Hi everyone. Today in this new video, we are going to see how to create a EC2 launch template. So for that, go to EC2 console and inside this instances section, you can see launch templates. So once you come here, we can create on a new launch template. So before going into creating it, I'll just explain you what is the use of this. The simple use is like if you want to deploy a same instance configuration again and again, it is very much recommended to use a launch templates because you don't need to go and specify every time what is the instance types, what is the AMI you want to take, and what is the key, what is the subnet. So instead of all these things, you directly going to create a one template, and whenever you want to deploy a same instance in a repeated fashion, you can use this template. Just you need to click on, you can select this launch template and then click on a launch instance from the launch template. That's it. So we are going to see that also. First, let us move into the creation of this launch template. So once we click here, it will first ask us to give a name. I'll be giving it as a demo EC2. For short form, I'll give it as a launch template LT. So you can also give the name for versions. In this launch template, you can create n number of versions. That means like, for example, first time you had selected a key with production key. Next, you decide that you want to change it to the non-production key, or if you lost that key, you want to change a key. Then you come here, you will select the new key pair what you have created. Then that will be created as a second version. So you can set that version as a default. I'll show you how to set the new versions as a default also in the same video. So for that, I'm giving a name. This is version 1, so V1 I'll give. So the same launch template. Previously in auto scaling group, we had a launch configuration, but now it has been removed by the AWS. So instead of launch configuration, we are using launch template itself. So in my upcoming days, I'll show you how to use this launch template to create a auto scaling also for our EC2 instances. So here, if you have any AMIs from your own system, like a own EC2 instance which is already deployed and taken a AMI, you can select that also, but I don't have anything here. So what I'll do, I'll click on quick start. So here you can see all the instances which you want to like which OS flavor you wanted, you can select it. For easy purpose, I'm going with the EC2 of Amazon Linux. I'll select this. Same, all the options you will get, whichever you want, you can choose the different versions. I'll keep it as a default here. Now you can select the instance type T2 micro here and also key. So I'll be selecting a key here. Next, if you want to select a subnet, you can directly choose it from here. So I'll be selecting my public subnet. So here you can't choose VPC. Like VPC, you don't need to choose anything. Directly, if you select a subnet, so it will be associated to the VPC. So like that, it is done. Next, I'm going to, okay, I don't want to create any security groups. I'll use the existing only for this also. Let us select this launch wizard 10. Let us see what is there allowed. Okay. So I'll host a small website also in this EC2 instance. So for that, I'll use 80 port and SSH connection for that 22 port. Okay. So cancel this. Now, if you want, you can specify the IP address, but what is the issue? It will come if you want to use this repeatedly, then you can't have a same instance with another IP. So that's why I'm not going to specify the private IP what I want. So next is volumes. So volumes, I'll just encrypt it. I'll use the AWS default key. So this all the steps will be same as how we get in a EC2 launch. It will be exactly same. The only difference is we can use this template multiple times. Once we the one time we are going to create, then we can use multiple times. So I'm going to enter the user data here. So that is this code. I'll just explain you. So first it will update my packages, then it will install the HTTPD, then it will start and enable that HTTPD services for hosting a website. And this is my HTML code, sorry, from here. So which hosts my demo website. So I'll be pasting all this here. Now everything is been set. So we will just cross check once. AMI is set, T2 micro key is set, and our public subnet. Okay, so everything is been set here. I'll click on a create launch template. So what happened? It has given the name demo EC2 LT and it is a ID of launch template. So we will view that. Currently I have only one EC2 launch template. You can see here default version 1 and the latest version 1. What happens, as I said, there are so many versions we can create. Like if you make any minor changes also, it will create it as a new version. Then you need to come here and select the default version. So we will do that after one instance has been launched. Okay. So let us go back to the EC2 here. So now if you click on launch instance here, the same thing we got, everything will be same. But now we are not going to use this because if I want to deploy multiple instances, every time I need to come here, every time I need to fill all these things. But what I've done, now I have created a launch template. So what I'll do, launch instance from a template. So I'll just click on that. It will come to this page. Here you can see that launch template you have created. If you have a multiple differentiated by a name, or you can copy your ID here and then come and paste it here. It will be easy for to identify, and it will ask for a version. As I said, if you have multiple versions, the first one will auto select always the default one. If you don't want to launch it from there, you can select the other versions also. I have only currently one version, so let it launch with it. So it is taking Amazon Linux, T2 micro, my CR desktop key, subnet, everything. So the private IP will be randomly taken from this subnet range 10.0.1.0. Okay, so I'll click on launch instance. See, in a first time we don't see much difference because we always do the same steps what we done in a launch template. So now one has been created. I'll name it as a first server. Now, in generally, if you wanted to create another server, what you wanted to do, again, you want to click on launch and you needed to fill all the details for a same instance. I want, let us take it as I want a same Amazon Linux T2 Nano and same key and also in the same subnet, let it come the random private IP. So now I won't be filling this directly. What I'll do, I'll again click on this launch instance from template, selecting my template, and it will select my version also. So everything is here. I'll just click on launch instance. Okay, let us go back to instances. See, now the second instance is also here. So this is what the advantage of creating a launch template. But always remember, launch template, you can create it for a one time and use it in a repeated fashion. So this I'll name it as a second server. So these both are Amazon Linux. If you remember, we had selected Amazon Linux. Now I'll show you, like we will connect to this also, but before that I'll show you what is this versions and how this is different. So once you select this, either you can select it from here, modify template, create new version, or you can come here, select this and again action, click on modify template version. Whichever you select, it will take the new. Okay. For this, I'll name it as a version 2. Now here I will take, yeah, I want to make a change, so it will change. Now I want to deploy the Windows server. So here you can select which is the Windows you want. I'll keep it 25 base itself. Now, so it is saying selected AMI is not supported for this instance type. So Windows Server is not supported for this. So let us go with the T3 Nano. So this is out of free tier. Still I am selecting it for this demo purpose. Soon I'll be changing that. And key, if you remember here, I have selected previously CR desktop key. I'll change it to CR key, just a CR key, okay? And subnet, uh, okay, we will keep it the same subnet. So we're not going to change that. So here I want a one more rule also. So what I'll see here, if you see, I have only 2280, but if you want to access a Windows server, the default SSH key is 3389. So what I'll do for this, I'll create a new security group. So I'll name it as a Win Server SG. So here I'll select the RDP and source, let it be from all traffic. So you can see I have selected RDP. The default port is 3389. So this is done. And also there are two volumes. So I don't want this 8 GB volume. I'll be removing that. So this is a default one, root disk, that is of 30 GB. Let it launch. So I'll create a launch template. If you see, it is creating a version of it. So once I click this, okay, I missed this. I'll be giving the same thing. So now successfully I have created a second version. Now can you see the difference here? Latest version is 2. Means there are two versions and the latest one is number 2. Okay. And but still my default version is set to 1. That means if I go and launch an instance again, it will launch in a Amazon Linux itself. Okay. But if I want to make the changes and set as a default, what I need to do, scroll down here after selecting your launch template, come down, select the version 2 and click on this action, set a default version. So here also select a 2, set as default. Now I'll refresh this page. Okay, we can see now the default version is also set to 2. What we'll do, we'll go back to instance, launch instance from template, this one. See, last time it was taking by default the 1. Now here also I can choose whichever I wish to go with the which version, but by default it will select the second one because we selected and given second version as a default in a launch template. That's why. Okay. Now I don't need to check anything. Everything has been already there. So I'll just click on a launch template. Okay. It is saying instance is launched. Let us go here. Okay. So it is successfully launched. I'll name it as a Win server, means Windows server. So I'll differentiate that also. Can you see this? It is Windows Server 2025 base version, like what we selected the AMI. But if you select the first server, it is Linux. And also second server we launched in a Linux. So this is the use of creating a launch template. So you just need to specify all the details in a one template form, and then you can use that same template for deploying a multiple instances. If you have a request from your office or organization that you need to deploy a same type of instances again and again, then you don't need to manually go every time select AMI and all. The best way is to create a launch template for one time, then you click on launch instance from this template, then select the version which you had created inside the launch template. Then you can go with the multiple instances creating just by 2 clicks. And if you want to make any changes, I have already shown you. Just go to the launch template, click on modify the template version, create a new version, set it to default. Then you come here again the launch instance from a template. So this is how we can save much time, like when you want to deploy the same type of instances again and again in an organization. I hope now what is the use of EC2 launch template and what is the advantage of using it. These are all very basic thing. Still, if you have any doubts in any of the steps, you can leave the questions in my comment section. I'll try to answer each one of your questions. I hope this video is helpful. Thanks for watching.